So we are looking at how to convert Excel worksheet to Razin Blazor app.
Yes.
So what is happening is we have this sample office supply sales sample data workbook. So I've downloaded it and extracted it in this folder. I open it. So this is how the first page is for the instructions. The second one is for sales orders. Then the other one is my links. So, but we are primarily concerned with this particular one. Are you following? So now, you know, it's open the soft is open in Excel right now. So the first thing you are going to do is you are going to save it as CSV. So we can still save it in that same folder. So sorry, before we save it as CSV, let's go back. These sales orders. This worksheet is called sales orders. So let's go. So we say save as. We are saving it in that same folder. So let's save it as sales orders. Are you following? Then you click save. Oh, did I say? Sorry, I made a mistake. File, save as. What I want to do is to save it as CSV. So this CSV. So we save. So to save only the active shape, click OK. So we save. Are you following? So now, if you check here now, under type, you can see you can see two worksheets and another one that says comma separated value files. It is this one that we are going to use, the one that is comma separated value file. It means it is CSV. So you can even open the CSV file with Notepad to see how it looks like. This is how it looks like. Okay? You get it?
Yes.
So now, the next thing now, that after we've converted it to that CSV file, now we now want to bring it to a database system called SQL Server. So this SQL Server is already installed on my system and is I have to click on that link to create it. To start it. Are you following? As you can see, it is starting, isn't it? So I'm going to wait for it to start. So now I can connect to this SQL Server either using username and password, or I can decide I don't want to use username and password. So in that case, I have to change the authentication method to Windows authentication. That will not ask me for username and password. So after that, I click connect. Okay? So now, the next thing that I'm going to do is, now that I've connected, I'll create a new database. To create a new database, what I just do is, I will right click new database. So after I right click the new database, I have to give it a name. Sales order DB. Are you following? It's not compulsory that I give my database and owner. I can just click OK. Are you following? Now, if you expand this databases folder, you can see that there are some other databases here. But if you scroll down, you can see the new database we created, sales order DB. Now, if you expand it, you can see these are these tables. This is just what you have under tables right now. Now, let me right click on sales orders DB and I go to task. Then I'm going to say import flat file. Say import what? Flat file. So when I say import flat file, I click next. Now what I want to import, I'll click browse. So I now go to the folder where that my CSV file is. And as you can see, it's showing me that CSV file. That file I opened in Notepad. This is it. I click on it, then I click OK. So then I click on, then it's suggesting this new table name. Okay. Then I click on next. Then this is how the records is appearing. Are you following? Then I click on next. Okay, other date is date. These are the data types for each column that this import flat file wizard has identified. So I want to change this one to unit, to inch. Are you following? Then wait, before I do that, let me go back a bit. So I have unit cost and total. Okay, let me go to next again. Then this float, I want to change it to decimal 18,2. Anything that has to do with money is better you use decimal for more accuracy. Okay. Then the total too will be decimal 18,2. Are you following? Because the total too also involves money. Are you following? Then I'll click next. Then I'll click finish. So you see sources. Then you click close. Now if you right click on this table now and you click refresh. So this is the sales order table now. Now if I right click on it and I say edit top 200 rows, you are going to see that the data from the Excel sheet, they have been imported, right? Isn't it? They've been imported. Good. Now there is one more thing I want to do. I want the records to have something that will identify them. Like this first record, there should be 1, 2, 3. So each row will have something, a number that will identify them. Are you getting it? So how do I now do it that each row we have that number? So what I will do is I'll right click and I'll go to design. So when I go to design, all those columns for that table will be listed here. So I will now right click on this one. I'll now say I want a new column at the top. So the new column I want at the top, I'll call it serial number. Are you following? The data type, let me make the data type big int. Big int is the kind of numbers without decimal places, and is the biggest form of numbers without decimal places in this SQL server. Then I'm going to make this serial number what we call primary key. Now an example of primary key, an example of primary key now is your student number. Do you have a student number in school? You don't need to mention what your student number is. But does any of your schoolmates have the same student number with you? So student number is an example of primary key because it uniquely identifies each student in your school. Are you following? So now, I said I want this serial number to be 0123. So after doing this primary key and selecting the data type for serial number, I will now go down. Now, this identity specification property is what will now make it to do that 123. So I will expand that, and are you following? When I expand that, it shows identity increment and identity seed. When you were in GS3, they taught you AP, arithmetic progression, right? So the first term of an AP is A, right? And the common difference is D, Abi. So the first term is, so you can think of identity property as an AP. Are you following? Where the first term of the arithmetic progression is the identity seed. Are you following? And then the common difference is the identity increment. So now I'm going to now save. Are you following? So after I save, if I go back again and I right click on that sales orders table and I say edit top 200 rows, this is what you can now see, that there is a new column called serial number, and it has 1, 2, 3, which we are now using to identify each what do we call it? Each record, isn't it? Okay. Now the next thing now is we want to create our initial app. Are you following? So to create our initial app, we are going to, I'll go to my C drive. You can see this is my C drive. I'll create a new folder. So I'll create a new folder. I'll call it sales order app. Are you following?
Where do you go to?
Okay, let me go. Let me delete it again. I'm going to delete this folder again. I've deleted it. Now what happened was, suppose I was in documents. Now I want to the app. I don't want to create the app in these documents. I want to create it on my C drive. I can actually create the app anywhere, but for me,
where is the C drive?
Just click on local disk C here. So you can see this PC, local disk C. So, and you can create a folder anywhere on your computer. Do you know how to create a folder before now?
Not really.
Okay, so to create a folder, what you just do is you right click and then you say new folder. Okay, so now after you create a new folder, by default your computer will give it a name of new folder. So now I don't want that name. Instead, I'm changing the name to sales order app. Are you following? So then I click outside. So my new app that I'm going to create, I'm going to put it in this sales order app. Are you following? Folder. So now the app I'm going to use to create my app is called Blazor Studio. Are you following? So I click on it. That's the link for it on my computer. It's coming up now. Are you following? So when this guy comes up, I'm going to say new application. I'm going to say what? New application. So when I say new application, I'm going to wait for the different kind of application types that I can create using this Blazor Studio to cover. Are you following? So now I can create Blazor server application or Blazor WebAssembly application. For now, let's stick with Blazor server application. Are you following? So I click next.
You press on new application.
Let me click back again. Let me click cancel. When this thing came up, I clicked on new application. Then after clicking on new application, this screen will appear. Then you have to choose one. So in the assignment you are going to do, I expect you to choose Blazor server. Now, then you click next. Don't worry, you watch the video after. So now you need to give a name to the application. So the name of the application will be Sales Order App. Sales Order App. So your assignment over the next 3 days will be to recreate this app by watching the video. Are you following? So there are different design. This design team, they just how your app will look. You can decide the one you want, but for now I want you to stick with default. Okay? Now the next thing to do is for you to choose where this Sales Order App will live on your computer. And it's going to be in that folder that we created before. So we just click browse. Are you following? So Sales Order App. Are you following? Then we click select folder. Are you following? So now the next thing we do is we click finish. Are you following? So we wait for Blazor Studio to create the initial files of our application. Are you following? Now when Blazor Studio finishes creating the initial file of our application, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the app for the first time so that we are going to see how the app looks like. Are you following? So right now Blazor Studio is building the app right now. Are you following? It's building the app. So let's wait while it finishes building the app, okay? Blazor Studio is still building the app. Now you can see ready. You know it was showing building here before. Yeah, now that it's showing ready, that means you can run the app. So let's run the app for the first time. We click run here. So now when you are running the app in Blazor Studio, when you are running the app, when you are running it, this how it looks like this. So now you can see the app is loading up in the browser. So the app currently has just one page. How many page? You can see it gives it a name, Sales Order what app, and that's how many page? One page. What's the name of the page? Oh, okay, fine. Now let's stop the app. We click stop. Are you following? Now what we want to do is we want to connect this database, Sales Order DB. We want to connect it to our app so that we can create pages that we can view these records and add them. Are you following? So now what we are going to do is for you to connect this software called SQL Server to this guy, Blazor Studio, you need to go to data. So when you go to data, then these are the different kind of database that you can connect to in Blazor Studio. You can connect to MS SQL Server, which is the one I'm using. And you can connect to other ones such as Oracle and MySQL. So we are going to accept the default, which is MS SQL. Okay? So I click next. Are you following? Then I need to get the server name. Where do I get the server name from? This is where I get the server name from. I go to the top. Are you following? I right click on the server name at the top. Then I go to I select properties. Are you following? You see that place where they wrote name. Can you see it? That place is where you get property from. You right click and you say copy. Are you following? You now come, you paste it here. Are you following? Authentication type. Okay, I don't want any username or password for now. So let's just say Windows. Okay? Now here you select the database that you want to connect to. And you know we have a database called SysOrderDB. Yes or no?
Yes.
That's the database. Can you see it? So I pick it up. Then the next thing I do is I'll click next. Okay? I'll click what?
Yes.
So I'll click next. So if you expand here, you can see the table. Just that single table. Okay, let me just check this. Let me click next. Are you following?
How do you show make this seven out to show?
It was just expand it, okay? Then this one was not checked before. I checked it, okay? Then I click next, okay?
Yes.
Then the next thing is I'm going to say generate pages for CRUD, okay? Leave it as this default for now, CRUD, okay?
Okay, you do tab on code.
It's selected by default for you. You can select other types, but I want you to select this one for now. Then click next, okay? Export to Excel. Search as you type. Check all those ones too. Okay? Just check every stuff that you see there. Okay? Because we are Nigerians, let's change the date format. Okay? You know, the app was showing the American format before. In the American format, month comes before day. Okay? Now in the Nigerian format, which we inherited from the British, day comes before month. Okay? So you click finish. Okay? So you can see it's telling you inferring the database, right? Good. So it says it's ready, right? If you expand here, you will see there is this folder inside the app called pages. If you go inside that pages folder, you will see index.razor, which is actually your own page. And then there are some other files that have been added, like add sales order, edit sales order, add sales order. Are you following? Now let me run so that you see how the app looks like now. So let's click run, okay? So you can see Razin Blazor Studio. producing output again, right? Now, if originally you had just one page, now you have another page called sales order, right? So click on sales order. Let's see what you have. Okay. Can you see this what you have in sales orders app now? Does it make sense? So, and you are not displaying all the records. You are displaying 10 per page. Are you following? If you like, if you want to display 20 per page, just change this, okay? Let's change it back to 10 per page. You can decide that, okay, I want 5 per page even, okay? Then you can move from one page to the other, right? Now, if you want to, wait. If you want to search for all items that are pencils, can you see that?
Yes.
If you want to search for all items that are binders, can you see that? You can come here and decide to add a new item. Now, maybe the order date for this item is yesterday. Yesterday is what? 14th, right? The region, maybe the region it was from Kano, okay? The rep is Amos. Are you following? Maybe the item is scatter. The item is soccer ball. Are you following? Now, how many units were entered? Maybe were ordered, sorry. How many units were ordered? Let's assume that 20 units were ordered. There is still a lot that we can do to improve this app, right? But for now, let's say unit cost is 500. One of the things we can do to improve this app is where you multiply this unit cost and units together, I should give you total. But I'm not going to bother, we won't bother that for now. We won't bother doing that for now because this is introductory, okay? So 500 times 20 is how much? 500 times 2 is 1,000, right? So you click save. Off it goes. Now if you want to see that order again, just search for ball. And here you have the record, right? Suppose the order date is not correct. I want to change it. Suppose the order date was the day before yesterday. Okay? What do? You double click and it comes up, right? Then you select the calendar to change the order date, right? You save and you can see it's been updated, right? Play the search box to display the records again. Okay, all the records again. Okay? So this is where we will stop. Okay? So your assignment will be to replicate what I've done so far, right?